Hey guys, just a moment. Our friend Ms.Blipper is going to come up just a minute or two, and we're going to discuss. I don't know, but it's always fun.
What's new with Google
It's
Ads?
always a surprise. We know it's going to be all things Course Miracles with maybe a spattering of Kabbalah, with maybe a pinch, a dash of yoga, some meditation talk. Maybe we'll do some breath work. Hey Lee, maybe we'll answer some questions. Maybe you guys will have some questions. By now, everyone knows Ms.Blipper. Everyone's familiar with her. I will have some other guests up, and I will talk about those guests when Ms.Blipper comes up. Hey, Heart Matters. Heart Matters says hello. Hey, Stitch. Ellie. Ellie says, how are you, Uncle Yogi? I'm pretty good. Pretty good this morning. Yep, it's Ms.Blipper Day. Should be a holiday. It should be a weekly holiday, right? Ms.Blipper was absent last Monday. She was hanging out with a friend. But that was perfect because it gave us an opportunity to meet David Hoffmeister. Ms. Blipper says, so let's all be there soon. Hey, Michael. Michael, how are you? When's the next installment of the comic strip coming up? Man, that was fun hanging out with David last week. Alex says, hey, Ms. Blipper, I have ice in my leg. Does it's even more swollen? Think you should go back to the doctor? I've been missing you. I've got a busy renewing my work certifications. I understand. It's okay, Heart Matters. I was wondering about you. I was thinking about you actually earlier today that it's been, what, a week maybe? Hey.
Hello.
How was your visit with your friend?
It was really nice. It was really nice. Very old friend I've known. She was actually a roommate of mine when I shared an apartment in San Francisco almost 40 years ago. So she's a really old friend. And
Nice.
it was nice. It was nice.
I'm glad to hear it. Your absence I missed you, but it provided the opportunity for David Hoffmeister to come up,
That's very
which
cool.
it was
Yay.
cool. The fact that he wanted to, he sent me the thing and said, well, how about Monday at 1 o'clock?
Perfect.
And I was like, it just so happens. Because, I
As
would hate to
things
have to
go.
bump. I would hate to have to bump David for you, but I like that. I would in an instant.
You would.
I'd be like, David, take a hike, man. This is Ms.Blipper Day.
Right.
Um,
I had an idea for today, Eric. Would you like to hear it?
sure.
My idea for today was, since you're so good at reading the comments, I'm much less good at reading the comments. But today I read an article by Robert Perry of, I guess, the Circle of Atonement group in Arizona.
Yep.
And he was talking about, principles of miracles and, how we are supposed to like give miracles. And so they're just extensions of love. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice to hear from the people in your chat? Like, what are examples of extensions of love, since there's no big or small miracles? What are some examples of extensions of love that they've given away recently?
Guys, you got an assignment?
I thought that
Let's
would
hear
be
it.
a fun, because I'd love to hear that from people in the chat. Like, even the tiniest things. They smiled at somebody, they said good morning to somebody, they helped somebody, I don't know, they let an old lady go in front of them at the grocery store or something, anything at all. Any act of love. They helped their kid with their homework, or gave a neighbor a ride to the shop down the street or whatever it is.
All right, guys. Ellie is very excited to see you. She said, "Hey, Miss Blipper."
Hello, Ellie.
Um, so we're talking about miracles. Say, Jamie, an extension of love, and Miss Blipper would like to know: has there been any extension of love? Small, medium, large? There is no order in miracles or love. Smallest one is equivalent to the greatest one.
I mean, we can start with you, Eric. We can make an
I was
example of
thinking
you.
we'd start with you because it was your idea.
Okay, I'll start. Let's see. The There's a new woman who works at the coffee shop up the street, and when I went in there this morning, she was like, "It's Monday," and I was like, "It is Monday. You can feel it. It feels like Monday." And then as I was leaving, she was like in a much better mood, just being acknowledged. And she wished me a great day, and I said same to you, and there you go.
Nice. My little example
Hmm.
was making myself available to just listen to a friend who uh, was in a time of need.
Perfect.
Not,
Beautiful.
yep, not advice, not um, uh, suggestions, just presence.
Being present. Very good.
Ellie says she helped her grandma as she is bedbound.
Wow, that's excellent. I love that.
Yep. Stitch says she took a dog for a walk. Does that count?
Absolutely, 100%. Living creatures, living love. Dogs have emotions too.
This is true. Ellie is happy to be here. We're happy to have you, Ellie. So, you know what? That
Absolutely.
ties in nicely with you and I have read this to each other a time or two, and um, it's been playing in my mind for a while, a long while. And then David brought it up last week. Um, I think you might have even mentioned it 2 weeks ago. Uh, the prayer, "I am here only to be truly helpful."
Hmm. I think
Um,
Kat read that one time. Or
I think so. I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah.
going to read the whole thing real quick. "I am
Great.
here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do because He who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever He wishes, knowing He goes there with me. I will be healed as I let Him to be healed, as I let Him teach me to heal." More and more, I'm thinking that as the theme to my, not just my life, but particularly my channel, um, to just open it up sort of a new direction and allow myself to be guided in a way that feels truly helpful to everyone.
What was the name? Not before David, you had some other people, and one of the people that you had, um, he was an English guy, and he was doing like podcast thing.
Tim Freak.
Yeah, and he mentioned um something. I'm trying to remember. Only to be truly helpful. Um I don't remember. It'll come to me.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, it was
Um,
interesting.
are you familiar with? I think you are. Dave Fear.
Mm-mm.
Phare.
Oh, fair. Yeah, in
Fair.
Australia.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, I remembered what it was with the guy Tim, is that his name? The UK
Tim.
guy?
Yep.
And he was talking that he'd had a shift in his perception about things being miracles and whatnot, or just existence, spirituality, being relational. that it's a kind of a combo thing. It's like what is really real is what we share. It's when we get into our own little dream worlds that things
Right.
become more separate. And that's always an interesting idea, also because that's the same for truth, right? It's going to
Right.
be shared for it to be real, or it's not itself.
That's along the lines of Nagarjuna, the Buddhist master. Some
Mhm.
say second only to Buddha himself. Um, and his theory of relativity. Hey, Sue, everything is relative, uh, meaning that um, my reality isn't my reality unless it's in relation to um, something or someone else. That everything, as Tim was saying, everything sort of relates and feeds off of another. Um, I mentioned Dave
Fair.
Fear or Fair.
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 Hmm.
He's coming up tomorrow,
Wow, neat. That's so cool.
and I saw a little video of his this morning where he talked about, um, yes, this is a dream. We're all dreaming, but so what? You know, chop wood, carry water. It's a dream, um, and you can relate to it as a dream, but the figures in the dream uh, are as real as any dream figure is. So you relate to them on a very caring and a very personal. You do those extensions of love that you were talking about.
Right. Well, I guess the last stop is that 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 we can that it can become a happy dream.
Right.
And that gets back. Oh, everything always returns to your forgiveness.
Um, what's a happy dream look like for you?
Wow. I suppose it is um understanding recognition, you know, uh r- recognition, remembering that um a light being is inside all. Like if I could just be consistent with that, like see the light, anybody in your chat room, see the light, anybody you run across, see the light, whatever it is that you're doing. No. Um and by see the light, I'm just intending that there is a greater truth, that like a greater truth that I didn't invent, that I'm not making up.
Right. Sometimes I wonder. My own thoughts on the matter is: would it be the absence of the need for forgiveness, or would it be a quick and easier, just a natural forgiveness without any thought that we just naturally fall into that pattern of um, everything's forgiven?
It's a very interesting question, because I think the recognition of forgiveness could take place in all sorts of ways, that it wouldn't have to just be wouldn't have to go through an intellectual understanding. It'd be clearly just emotional or physical or spiritual, could happen in all sorts of different ways.
Right.
You know,
Um,
I do not want to place any limits on forgiveness.
right. It always. Uh, I got my online version here. Let me go to workbook lesson 122. I
Okay.
absolutely love this as maybe the most poetic uh, of all. And that's saying a lot in the course because the course is basically one long poem. Um, but forgiveness offers everything I want. What could you want forgiveness cannot give? Do you want peace? Forgiveness offers it. Do you want happiness, a quiet mind, a certainty of purpose, and a sense of worth and beauty that transcends the world? Do you want care and safety and the warmth of shore protection always? Do you want a quietness that cannot be disturbed, a gentleness that never can be hurt, a deep, abiding comfort, and a rest so perfect it can never be upset? All this forgiveness offers you and more. I
That is
remember reading that.
beautiful.
It
It's like,
is.
why would somebody not choose it, right?
And, when I thought about meditation, when I first started, it was yes, meditation can give you a lot of peace right now, but it has the ultimate aim in yoga of reaching samadhi consciousness, in which you are um, awakened, or some might say enlightened. Every experience of samadhi consciousness dips you further into um, that state of the absolute. And when I read this, lesson 122, I thought, just by forgiving, you're there. Just by forgiving. And the thing is, you don't have to wait, because someone's going to give you something today, or there's something in your mind that's been unforgiven that you could forgive right now. Doesn't mean that the thought or everything will be magically better, but it means you get to choose peace of mind right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I tie it also into that idea. I think I've talked about this before with you. Um, in order to, a lot of the course is about, if you want to keep something, give it away. So if you want to keep the sense of having already been forgiven, that creation is not holding anything against you at all. On the contrary. And the way to kind of celebrate that innocence is like recognizing it and going, okay, I'm giving this away. I'm offering this to everybody so I can hold it on to it. I mean, maybe it sounds kind of selfish in a way, I suppose it might be, but
no,
still, um, if if and because we're here, as a matter of fact, eh, we can develop, increase, augment our sense of having been forgiven, or sense of, you know, the relief from guilt, the relief from fear, the relief from disease. Why not?
it's a good question. Why not? Why, even knowing, and why does it take so long? Like even knowing that I can choose forgiveness, even knowing that I can choose peace instead of this, um, I often don't. Lifetime of practice, I guess. Hey, I wanted to address something that our friend Heart Matter said. I want the world to be a better place for each generation over the previous ones, which is an awesome thing to want and wish for and to work for. However, has it ever worked?
The world.
The world and working to make the world better. Do you think that's ever worked? Do you think the world is necessarily better now than it was a generation ago? 2 generations, 3 generations? Yeah, we live longer. Are we happier? Uh,
I'm
Wars
I'm
are more sophisticated, but they're still present,
I don't know how to judge that. I really don't. I mean,
right?
the other day you were talking about judgment with your friend Goldie yesterday.
Yep.
She was talking about judgment, and it was too long for me to write into the chat, which just lets you do 25 words or less or something. Um, but my thought about it was, as things are in relationship to truth, it's not about, you know, judgment as being something bad or good, or judging judgment, but rather that as it relates to truth. I mean, if judgment has any relationship to truth, I can't do it because I don't have enough information. I'd have to know all of the future and all of the past and
Right.
all that everybody out there, is experiencing in order to measure, and I just don't have that information.
Um, the course brings that up. We have our interpretation. We don't have all the information. Our interpretation is this tiny little sliver of perceived information, not necessarily true, useful information. And it doesn't apply to everything. We can never know uh, everything that went in to make a situation, or a person do what a person does. Um, Ellie has a question, Lee has a question, but first,
Mhm.
this comes up all the time.
The fishbowl.
Uh, Harmata says, forgiveness is only valuable for people in your life. Me forgiving Hitler or any serial killer is irrelevant. Are you ready to address the Hitler question? Because it always comes up.
Yeah, it really does. Again, I'll do it this time because you've done it other times. The way the course is talking about forgiveness isn't about finding an evil and then letting it go. That would be called what the course calls forgiveness to condemn. No, true forgiveness would be more like the recognition that um, you're you're in a state of perceiving, not necessarily evoking or extending love. And so um, the idea would be to choose to extend love.
Perfect.
I'm going to go get my fishbowl. I forgot it.
Sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, Harmat is where totally different radical form of forgiveness that has nothing to do with saying, I forgive you for what you've done. Because how could anyone forgive Hitler or a serial killer for what they've done? What we're saying is, I forgive in recognition of the light, the soul that is so deeply buried within you that has caused this amount of suffering. So it's not something that we bestow. Um, and it also is something that we acknowledge that something has happened, and yet we're not going to be bound to that which has happened. Without forgiveness of the actions of um, Hitler, we would not have the relationship that we have now with Germany or Japan. Um, Ellie said her question she had for you. What inspires you to do what you do?
What inspires me to do what I do? Ah, um, that's an excellent question. Uh, I would say that it would be um, the same light that I was talking about before. Like I happen to be somebody who I really do believe that there's something called truth. And I don't say that I know what that truth is necessarily. But I am totally interested in finding out and cherishing truth. No? Um, as even just as an idea.
I like that. Um, we have a question from our friend Lee Liu. If we block
Uh-huh.
somebody via phone or YouTube and then have a change of heart and unblock them, are we forgiving?
All right, say that again. So I heard about the change of heart part, but do the part from the beginning.
So if we block someone via the phone
Hmm.
or on YouTube, and
Hmm.
then we have a change of heart and unblock them,
Hmm. Are we forgiving? Well, it's certainly a miracle. I mean, that would count my first inquiry, which is, have you done something, loving and kind? Yeah.
Nice. I always mention this quite a bit, that forgiveness has nothing to do with a level of form. You can block someone and they can be completely forgiven. You can they could be out of your life and you have completely have forgiven them. That forgiveness is a matter of the heart. It's a matter of, or we could say, matter of the mind, using the language of the course. Um,
Mind and heart are very connected. Yeah.
yes. So we can set someone free from any resentment, from any grievance. They can be completely forgiven. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are back in our life.
Hmm. Hmm. I actually think setting people free is the greatest gift you can give anybody.
True. Good. We love you, Carl.
I watched one of Carl's videos the other day. He got a new haircut.
I heard
It's
you got
like
it. I didn't see
Carl.
it, but I heard you got a new haircut.
Yeah, it's nice.
So Hard Matter says at one point we were cannibals, dying by age 35, with no knowledge of history or the universe. I would say we were better off. I'm not so certain that knowledge of history or the universe is a matter of being better or being worse. It's just a matter of information. Um, and I'm not necessarily sure that, well, as a vegan, I think we are definitely better off than being cannibals. Because I know all you meat eaters would be turning on me as a vegan, like in an instant. You'd be like, we're going after the vegan guy. Um, Nor the age of which we die as a matter of
That
progress.
was that was the one that I was thinking of. I don't measure it, you know, um, longevity as an ingredient in well-being
Right.
necessarily.
We seem more separate from each other. We're more divided. Um, we even in families, as and I'm not talking like politically, but think of a typical family that might be sitting there with their heads down on the phone. Or even when I was a kid, everyone watched TV when they were eating. Uh, it was either Sigmund Freud or Jung who talked about his how nice it was, the invention of telephone, that his daughter who moved all the way across the other end of Germany could pick him up and call. But without the invention of the telephone, would his daughter, without that form of communication, would his daughter have been as likely to move away? It made it a little bit easier to make that decision. Um, so it's hard to make those distinctions. I don't know. I'm not saying that we're not better off, but I just wonder. And even if we are better off, uh, like I said, we have such sophisticated weaponry that everything like that, not to put any sense of dread in anyone's mind, that's not necessarily being better off. There's that sense of fear that in a blink, one person could press a button.
Yeah, I've thought of that often. This particular age that we live in with, computers and telephones and the internet, World Wide Web, that, uh, and I've thought about this for a long time. Basically, there are very, very few, hardly any human beings left on the planet that aren't connected. Basically, if you had a message to get out to every set of ears in the world, like within 3 days, 5 days, maybe a week at the most, you could reach every set of ears on the planet. And what's interesting about that is, what would the message be? So that is a new, different sort of thing of this period of time. What what isn't new and different is that a decision still needs to be made. A choice needs to be made about what that message would be.
Nice. Hey, we got big exclamation points and some capital letters from Ellie saying, fishbowl.
Oh,
So
fishbowl for
I,
Ellie.
I think it might be
Gotta
time to
love
dive
it.
in.
All right, but everybody knows by now that these are imperatives, so they sound kind of like they're an imperative in grammar just means an instruction like sit down, go away, do this, think that. It it can seem kind of flat, but we'll see what this one says. So, Ellie, this is nice actually. It's hard, but it's nice. It says seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against love. Seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against love. Just recently, I don't know where I read this, but something about how the course works, and somebody, or maybe it was Alan Watts, I don't know, yeah, it was Alan Watts who made an analogy, a metaphor of um, this kind of self discovery being kind of like how sculptors sculpt. They take pieces away. They remove pieces. So
Right.
remove those barriers um, that that you might be leaving up to putting
That reminds
preventing.
me the
What?
that reminds me of the saying from Michelangelo when he was asked how he carved David out of a solid block of marble,
Mm,
and he said David was already and always in the marble. He just removed everything that was not David.
exactly.
So, man,
Exactly.
imagine if that was the reason why I was asking about uh, a better world, making a better world, um, and is it possible? Is because of the course's directive of do not seek to change the world, seek to change how you see the world.
Hmm.
Unless we're taking that deep dive and we're removing all of those obstacles that block our awareness of love, of absolute, pure, unconditional love, um, then all the issues of the world would just continue being the issues of the world from generation to generation to generation. They'll be different, there'll be different uh, problems that we have to work on and fix, but inevitably the problem of warfare, the problem of starvation, the problem of homelessness, the problem of disease, the problem of crime, the problem of division will all be there until we dive within and we begin ourselves, one person diving in and removing the obstacles that occur within us. And here's the great thing about YouTube live streams: if you're butting heads with someone, that's an obstacle to love. And you can solve it and fix it right here, right now, not by it doesn't even have to be a conversation with someone. You just remove your obstacles that is keeping you from realizing love.
Nice.
Um, let's see. Hey, Tatsuhan, probably not pronouncing your name right. Says, what's this stream about? This stream is all about the fishbowl of imperatives.
It's about
The,
miracles.
um,
Miracles. Whatever
but
miracles are going on in your life.
every time you pull into the fishbowl, you come out with a little miracle.
There we go.
It says teach problem solving, empathy, science, provide food, water, shelter, safety, clean up pollution, protect vulnerable species. I agree, but you'll never get every person on board with that until every person realizes that it's better to give someone food than to hoard food, that it's better to offer shelter than be in a shelter while there's other people suffering in the rain or the snow or the storm. Um, so, Harmat, I agree with you 100%. I just wonder, how do you think we're going to get there? We're not going to get there politically. Um, we're not going to get there by executive action. Um,
It kind of falls into my lesson today, which is my lesson. I didn't really like it so much because it was a rhetorical question, and I'm not really into rhetorical questions. But because it just seemed weird for a workbook lesson to be a rhetorical question. But it's like, how long are you going to hang on to illusions? Like, what's driving that? You know?
Right, right. And that's the thing. As long as we are clinging to the illusions of the world, the same problems um, will exist as they always have. Uh, Jesus, beautiful message. And yet, 2,000 plus years later, the world is every bit as much of a mess. Buddha, wonderful message. Um, so, if enlightened masters were unable to bring about, but we are each an enlightened master, and we don't even realize it. So, this is why Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world until we accept that responsibility. And it isn't by standing up in a classroom and teaching empathy. I don't think you can, but I think you can demonstrate it. I think you can live. Go ahead.
No, somewhere in the course it says something about like almost everything can be boiled down to an authority problem, uh, and there's a very strong drive in a lot of humanity that wants, which is a big word, um, wants to be the authority rather than just allowing there to be God, basically love. No, um, and we do have, I think, a lot more power than we often imagine, but it's a shared power. It's not, you know, just me, Ms. Blipper, saying how things are. You, Yogi, just saying how things are. It isn't about our determining things, but our kind of invitation, welcome to how things can be in a positive sense. No.
Right. Um, so Hartman said you can absolutely teach empathy. Just, I'm not so sure that it can be taught. I I think that.
I
Go ahead.
No, they are trying to teach empathy. I think it was in school. I think we talked about this. I don't remember if it was Sweden or Norway, Northern European country.
Right.
They are 1 hour a week teaching empathy in the elementary school classroom, which is just amazing. They said it's just had amazing results.
But and I
Like,
think it's a wonderful thing to do.
mm,
Um, but look at look at what goes on in the schools in the U.S. That if you try to teach in some places something that has to do with transgendered, with um, gay, lesbian, if you mention it, uh, then you can get funding removed. And we
I
can think, well,
know,
that's
yeah.
just that's just a temporary thing, and it's going to be you know something different later on. But where do you teach? Where in the U.S. are you going to be able to teach empathy? And is it going to be this group learns it and this group doesn't? That this group practices it and this group doesn't? In which case, then you have an empathetic um, uh, fraction of society and one that has absolutely nothing to do with it.
But ideas grow by being shared. So even if it's not a school group, even if it's just your next door neighbor's kid, or you show an example wherever it goes, um, ideas grow by being shared. So empathy's real.
It is, but I think myself, I think it is a individual, seemingly individual spark uh, that can be offered. And I take that. Hey, Lady Sky. Um, I take the directive of Course in Miracles very seriously when they say, "Do not seek to change the world," because I spent time protesting, holding signs, waving them, arguing, debating, and I might have changed a single mind and I might have alienated 16 more. Um, and I think really, really, when they say, do not seek to change the world, but seek to change how you see the world, how you perceive the world, really is the only thing that's ever going to bring about any. I think that's going to be the happy dream.
Mhm.
I
Well,
don't think we'll pro.
somewhere in there, it also in the course of miracles, it says something about empathy has been kind of misdirected, misused, and what we really should be doing is empathizing with greatness.
I like that. So I agree with everything Heart Matter says because he says you can make empathetic milestones every single semester where children aren't allowed to move to the next semester until they pass certain empathetic ideas. And I hear the protests going on right now. Kids are being removed from school. You're not going to teach that stuff to my kid. Um, that nope, they're going to learn the traditional 10 Commandments. They don't need anything else. Um, and theoretically, I think all that is absolutely awesome. But when you yourself uh, dive in and open yourself up, allow yourself to be broken open and naturally experience it, then demonstrate, be the teacher, be the change. Uh, I think that is the only way it's ever going to be lasting. And when you have that ultimate peace of mind, um, and someone says, "Man, what's your secret?" Then you tell them the secret.
Uh oh.
And
What's the secret, Eric?
secret's forgiveness.
Okay.
I have I can forgive because I have empathy. I have empathy because I've experienced the same suffering that you've experienced. I've had my heart broken. I've lost loved ones. Um, you know, life's been hard. It's been hard for you. It's been hard for the next door neighbor. It's been hard for everyone. It's been hard for a 6-year-old kid who's already, you know, might have been harder for someone in grade school now who has had a um, active shooter drill that I never had to go through.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. And
If no one sought to change the world, we would still be cannibals. But no one's saying not to. Um, I'm not so sure someone thought not to be a cannibal as they evolved not to be a cannibal. I'm not sure we were ever actually cannibals, were we?
some of us were, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I have to check through my family Bible and see if there's any mention in the archives that they kept. Eight,
I'm thinking for some reason about song and singing and how life, anybody's life can be a song, and that it's really quite a simple affair. You just hear a song, like even children, little children, 2-year olds, they hear a song and they're like, "Oh, I like this."
right. So I love everything that our friend Heart Matters is saying, but um, I don't see it happening, particularly in America. I don't see, having you're not going to the next grade until you've passed a certain. We don't even teach civics any longer, which is a
Yeah.
shame.
And scarily also rewriting history, as
Right?
far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
I mean, right now, not getting overly political. Right now, we're having aspects of Black history, slavery, removed from museums.
Yeah,
Where
shut
you
out
know,
exhibits in the Black History Museum of the Smithsonian. No.
right? So how do you have empathy if you fail to acknowledge something happened?
Yeah, controlling the narrative is a very old power move. I mean, that's been around for ages and ages and ages. It isn't really anything new, but it can backfire too.
Right?
Like when people get hip to it.
Um, but there's a lot of willful ignorance nowadays. I know what happened, but you don't need to rub it in my face. I know what happened, but I don't need to hear about it every day. I got my own problems to worry about. Um,
That's true. That's true. And there's also a lot of take, the easiest route is the best. So just don't make me think about it. Don't make me communicate or speak about it.
right. I'm going to save myself from typing real quick. I
Okay.
I was about to type that awesome conversation, guys, that everyone's having. I appreciate that. Um, and for you and I to be able to facilitate a conversation based on empathy and the best way of achieving it. I think everyone is in agreement. Empathy is a wonderful thing to experience and to invoke within others. Uh, if there's any disagreement here, and I'm not sure there is, hey, Long John, then it is the achievement, the means to take for its achievement. You know, I didn't see anyone arguing its value, which is awesome. You know, to think about.
Yeah, I'd like to empathize with everybody's miracles. That's me. I would like to empathize with all the good things that good energy people have been putting out, all their big, small, medium miracles.
Right. If I missed something, guys, grab my attention and let me know.
If anybody wants more fishbowl, let me know. Eric, do you want a fishbowl?
I always want fishbowl.
You
Hey, Kat,
always want a fishbowl. What am I going to do when the fishbowl's empty? Okay,
start over.
I guess find a new fishbowl. Right. Start. Yeah, my next fishbowl will just be full of questions. It won't have any imperatives.
Hey, that's nice. I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Sissy would like one. I'm wondering if Kat would like one too. Pretty
All
sure
right.
Kat's gonna like one.
This one's the one I took out for you, Eric. It says, "Ask to be taught, and do not use your experiences to confirm what you have learned." So you're supposed to resign as your own teacher, basically.
I'm doing my best with that. Uh, I do think
I
of that.
give up. I give up.
I think of that often. That try to start my day with I don't know anything, and uh, I will make no decisions on my own today. What should I
Excellent.
do? What should I do today? Where should I go? What should I say and to whom? Uh, that is the imperatives that I try to offer myself every single morning after my thank you.
And the miracles. What are the miracles I should be giving away today?
All right. So
So who?
Sissy wanted a fishbowl.
Oh,
Uh,
Sissy wanted a fishbowl. Sissy,
yep.
my soul sister, this is for you. It says, "Ask me if your choice is in accord with mine before you choose to do anything." And that mine is the Holy Spirit. So ask the Holy Spirit if your choice is in accord with His before you choose to do anything.
Hey, Mr. Amar. And Long John wanted a fishbowl.
Oh,
And
Long John wanted a fishbowl. Well,
yep.
here.
Hey, SLR King, how are
Have
you?
a fishbowl. Long John it is.
Cat, I'm sorry I missed your question. And go ahead.
No, this is for Long John.
We're ready.
Okay, it says, "Ask for help. Instead of for release from fear, ask for help in the conditions that have brought the fear about." That's like kind of deep.
All right, here we go. Question for Ms.Blipper. How do
Hmm.
you personally, this is from Kat, how do you personally practice forgiveness in the heat of the moment when emotions run strong?
I probably don't. I probably forget. But then, but then I try to remember a lot of my stuff comes in review. Like I could have done that differently. Like maybe next time I might, think twice or take 10 steps back or whatever. But yeah, that's hard in the heat of the moment when someone's good and pissed off. It's not easy.
Right.
It's not easy. But I do generally um I do like to kind of maintain, if I can, a peaceful approach. I mean, I do have an intention about keeping things as peaceful as I can.
I like that. My own thoughts. Um, One, having that, if you're know your function, remind yourself often of your function. Your function is forgiveness, um, and your only goal is peace of mind. So when you set that and you set it every day, uh, then you use the magic word intent. You're going to live with that intent.
Mhm.
But overall, my answer would be don't worry about it because you're going to mess up and you're not going to do it. You're going to completely forget. But the way you feel afterwards, you'll forgive yourself and it'll happen again. And this time it'll be a little easier, and then a little easier, and then a little easier, and a little easier. And maybe when you're 60, it's still going to suck. And you're going to, but by the time I get to 70, it's definitely going to be easier.
Mhm.
Uh,
I like that. I like that. It's also about kind of, recognizing. You want to recognize in yourself that you've been forgiven, and your way of recognizing that is by offering it.
right. Um, so forgive and live your life, and then forgive again.
And if you forget, oh well, try to
Exactly.
remember next time. Yeah.
And that's part of living your life is that you're going to forget. But if you live in apprehension of forgetting, you're going to make yourself miserable. If you live with fear of forgetting, you're going to make yourself miserable. And if you hold a grudge, a resentment, a grievance towards yourself after you messed up, you're going to be miserable. So if your one goal is peace, then don't worry if you mess up. Make life a little easier for yourself. And when
Yep.
you do, you make life a whole lot easier for other people as well.
And you will feel it more at peace if you remember that you are forgiven already.
Right. What a great thing that forgiveness offers us. That it's a it's a gift we're giving to ourselves. We don't have to worry about messing up. That's the mudra in yoga, the sacred symbol. There it is, the greatest of all. Shrug. And the mantra that I give people all the time. So what? I messed up.
I had a question for you that you would know the answer to because you just couldn't remember the word for it. What is it called in I guess it's Hindi or Sanskrit? Is it when somebody's like a bodhisattva or bodhisattva, a wise person,
Right.
somebody who's given.
Buddhistava.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking. Say it again.
Buddhistava. If you want to remember it,
Bodhisattva.
there's a Steely Dan song, Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva. Um, and you can listen to the song Steely Dan, and
Okay.
whenever you forget, you just sing the song in your head.
Oh, okay. Good.
Okay, and it's a good
Is
song
that,
too.
is that the name of it? Is that the name of the song?
Yep.
Bodhisattva. Okay.
They are someone who they're ready to step into nirvana. All they have to do is take that step, and they look behind them, and heart matter will like this. They say, "No, I'm going back." I'm going to help the next person. There's a wonderful movie, and I can't remember the name of it. A very impactful, emotional movie. True life of a soldier in World War II who enlisted but
Ah,
refused to
wait,
carry.
Dalton Trumbo. Johnny got his gun.
This is more recent,
Okay.
like maybe within the last decade or so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Starred Andrew Garfield, who played the previous Spider-Man,
Okay.
and he so he was a medic before he was almost court-martialed for not carrying a gun, and but eventually he won his case and he was allowed. And during one of the most intense battles, he ended up saving single-handedly 70 people, uh, lowering down an encartment so the medics could help him. 70 people he saved. And then the next day went back into battle, was wounded. Uh, and that is someone, his mantra as he was dragging someone towards that, dodging fire, was, Lord, give me the strength to get one more, to just
Wow.
get one more. And that's what the uh, Bodhisattva does, is just one more. I'm going
Yeah.
back down. I'm going
Yeah.
back down for Yogi and Ms.Blipper. Uh,
That's fascinating. Really, thank you for that. It actually made me think of Mother Teresa, who had a dream. She had several problems with her heart. Like, I don't know if she had heart disease or heart attacks. She had a couple of them. And at one point, she was in the hospital recovering from a heart attack. And while being under, she dreamt that she had gotten to the St. Peter in the gates, um, and uh, and he said, go back. You're not done there yet. Like, so she did. She came back.
um, Hacksaw Ridge says Better Soft Daily, 2016. That was the name of the movie.
What was it?
Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's a good movie, but it's like I said, it's the battle scenes are intense. Um, yeah, I love that thought of going back. I love going back to the prayer that we started with. When we say, I'm here only to be truly helpful, we mean life here,
Right.
the classroom. That's the lesson.
And that's how we started. We were talking about the guy Tim that you had on, and how he had sort of an awakening of all things spiritual being relational.
Right, right. Um, Kenneth said, my function is forgiveness, the goal is peace of mind. The thumbs up.
Yay.
So, on a slightly different topic, I've been up and we got some more awesome course teachers coming up. Lori Coburn on Wednesday wrote a book, Breaking Free. I think Brittany Shaw has a wonderful channel. She's come up maybe on Friday. But I get so much personal meaning and joy, you and I, every Monday.
Very
Uh,
sweet.
and I'm glad that you are my weekly partner.
Hey.
Uh, I feel that you and I just, because we have these conversations as friends, that we seem to, for me, we unpack so much. So thank you.
Ah, thank you. I feel like sometimes like I'm watching. It's just such an honor to be able to. You're like a flower growing, I think you're going new places with this, and the word relational keeps coming back to my brain, because all of the stuff that you're doing, you've been doing it for a while with the chat room, but now you've expanded into interviewing different people from the chat room, and now different authors, different studiers, different um approaches, and something's going on with you and all that, in a good way. It's good for you to do that.
Well, thank you.
It's like it's singing. You're singing a song. You're singing duets. I like it.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Um, we're just talking with that with Nature's Dog Realm, my singing partner, uh, singing partner in crime. Um,
Okay.
it's a crime that we're having so much fun. Uh, her laugh is so infectious.
Terrible. Terrible.
Um, yeah, we're doing the TV theme songs and commercials. We've expanded to commercials, and
Oh wow.
now we're taking it one step further. We're getting kazoos so that
Ah, yeah.
the theme songs, like "I Dream of Jeannie," that doesn't have words.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, now we can do other theme songs.
Now, if I want to just tell you, even if without kazoos, there's a way that you can pretend like that you're playing a kazoo, like almost like an invisible kazoo. You just make the kazoo sound. No,
We could do that. I don't know
it
if
could
anyone
be done.
actually
It
even.
could be done, and until the right kazoo, finds its way to you.
Right.
You can just, as you go for your walks and stuff, you can kind of practice, how much of with your breathing exercises and all, how much of a, invisible kazoo sound you can produce.
Well, Chris loves that. So that to me, when Chris says "I love that," means that she has stepped up to demonstrate the next time we do it.
Okay.
Hey, Burn Summit. Burn Summit wants to know the biggest reason why I'm a vegan. Just one reason, short and sweet: kindness.
Aw, beautiful. I like that.
Um,
Falls into my miracle questions.
yeah, my entire diet, and it wasn't an easy thing for me to do. I was a bodybuilding meat eater, um, and did not care for. I definitely did not care for the majority of vegetables. I ate some fruit, uh, but when I realized that I had to step outside of that, the wheel of suffering, for me personally, and I've never stood up a soapbox and said this is how you should eat too. This is just how I eat, um, and I had to change everything in an instant. So by using it as kindness means I have to also be kind to people who choose to eat differently. Thank you, Bern. Bern says the best reason I've heard. I appreciate that. Chris says, I think I might take my kazoo and go to the park and play it. That's how much fun this is going to be. Man, I can't wait until my kazoo comes in.
Kazoo orchestra. But I thought you were maybe going to think about like your invisible kazoo.
I will think about it. But um, now I'm having kazoo envy that Chris has one. I gotta have one. I can't have
Uh,
Chris just have. And she's already got hers. She's going to be an expert. I'm going to be trying to make noise, and she's going to
you-
be like doing Beethoven's Fifth by the time her and we're going to do it. I think as close to Halloween as we can make it for our next one. So it's going to be a Halloween themed. Uh, bring your costume.
Good idea. Good idea. We don't there is Halloween here, but like Halloween here is considered to be like an American commercial holiday. It's not like they're not really into it. They have Carnivale, Carnival. What we do have is All Saints Day, which is the day after Halloween, which is kind of too bad because I like Halloween. I always did.
Um, Adam would Adam would like a fishbowl,
All right.
an imperative.
You can have the whole bowl. Adam. Adam has a real fish tank.
Hey, Norman Price.
Wow. Okay, Adam. It says, return to the Son of God. What is his due, that you might share it with him?
That was for you, Adam.
I can repeat that if you want.
Adam, you want to hear it one more? Both go ahead. Repeat it one more time.
Return to the Son of God what is his due, that you might share it with him.
So, what is his due?
The Son of God, what is his due? I guess recognition, remembrance, remembrance.
I like that. Kat said the same thing actually. So let's talk about what is his due. And man, I could try to unpack it for uh, the next 20 minutes or so, but I don't think I could come with anything better than remembrance. I don't think the Son of God wants anything more than to be recognized as the Son of God, because there all our problems are solved.
Well, I think in remembering the Son of God, you're actually participating in the Son of God. I mean, I think that the way to I think those two things go together.
Right. So more from many, many, many course teachers and from the course itself, I have read all of our problems stem from the belief in separation. That we are separate from the source, that we're separate from God, we're separate from each
Mhm.
other. If we remember ourselves as a son of God, then separation is over and all of our problems have been solved.
Yeah,
So
and
we will,
and we're all leading each other home.
um, that's our function. And it's important to remember that would be a wonderful thing to teach in school. Take your brother's hand, lead him home. Um,
Trying to
the
think.
Dalai Lama.
Helen Keller said something like that. She said something like, "I would rather be in darkness um, with a friend. I would rather be in darkness with a friend than to be alone in sight."
I like that. Um, Dalai Lama had said that if we taught in elementary school meditation, uh, violence, warfare would be eliminated within a generation. Um,
Amazing.
and I think we could simplify it if we taught forgiveness as presented by A Course in Miracles. Uh, there we go. Imagine how easy it is to. I think I mentioned to you 2 weeks ago, James Twyman, the author. He
Mhm.
wrote a book. Um, uh, I don't know. Maybe I love you. That's the title. He was in a
Nice.
political argument with his brother, going back and forth. Um, and it was about all the stuff that we argue about right now. It was written this earlier this year. And in the midst of the argument, when his brother had asked, a pointed question, and he just blurted out, I don't know. Maybe I love you. And his brother stopped and said, well, how am I supposed to continue arguing with you now? You blew the whole thing. Um, and they laughed, and that was the end of it. Um, so he wrote a whole book, and he decided to drive across the country and just present that. If we were, doesn't mean you don't have your own opinion, and that you stand strongly by it, but you entertain the thought that, well, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be wrong. I don't know. And
It's kind of like that line that it says, in the course, do you prefer to be right or do you prefer to be happy? And I've had like sometimes people tell me, "Oh, you're right. You were right." And I always say, "Well, I prefer to be happy." It's really true.
it is. We
I
put
really
that
don't
here.
care about being right at all.
We put that here all the time. Um, hey, Heart Matters, I'll put my email address for you in just 1 second. That, man, little egos shouting, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. And that's how we proceed through life. um, and we're
People are
miserable.
taught that. People are taught that it's the same thing. Being right and being happy um are the same thing. And for a lot of people they are the same thing. So it's nice to differentiate. I actually got into a kind of an argument last year with my younger brother, whose name is Eric. And it was about, how do I explain it? I was saying to him that things can be equal but not the same. You can have things that are different but equal. And he was like, no, sameness and equalness are the same. And and so we left it there. We said, okay, we'll just agree to disagree. And then later on in the afternoon, I went back to the place where we were staying. This was in Sicily, near like ancient Greek temples, right? And I went to go take a nap. He decided to go send some postcards at the post office, so he went for a little walk by himself. And he actually saw, like what I was saying, like chiseled in stone, like two columns, saying, things can be equal but different.
Right.
And so he came back and after seeing it chiseled in stone, he was like, okay, maybe
You
you're
know,
right. And I'm like, I'd rather be happy.
yeah. Imagine someone uh, said that in a presidential or senatorial or congressional debate.
Yeah, right, 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 right.
Imagine if we didn't have debates as uh, discussions. If we ended the whole debate,
Aren't
and
Oh gosh, you're really saying it now. I'm hearing you loud and clear. I'm like gun, gun, like you mentioned school shootings and stuff. Instead of saying, "Oh, it was the left," "Oh, it was the right," "Oh, it was left, right, left, right." What if you just said, "Are you really happy? Are we really happy with that
right,
situation with like kids getting all mixed up, going to church and going to school and getting blown to bits? I don't think so."
why do we have that, and why is one even acceptable, let alone where it seems a weekly occurrence now? And I think that if we had a discussion, um, and it didn't center around the Second Amendment, that it was, okay, Second Amendment's in place, it's an amendment. Uh, that's not part of the discussion. Here's the discussion: how do we keep one kid from being killed?
Right, right.
And then
Uh,
maybe later people might want to put an amendment to the amendment that not everyone needs a certain type of weapon. Um, and I'm not taking a stance of anti-gun. I'm not taking a pro-gun stance. I'm just saying everything should be able to be discussed. And when you make that distinction between a debate, I'm taking this stance and no one's going to sway me. Um, Discussion means, hey, if you think we could save a life, I'm open to hear what your plan is. And if it means keeping the Second Amendment, I'm fine with that. If it means making a change to the Second Amendment, I'm fine with that. But no kids should be dying across the
are they
board.
really happier if it's just like, you know, lefties kids? Does that really make anybody happier? Or not me. It doesn't make me. I don't want anybody's kids getting shot up. I don't care left or right or whatever.
Um, I remember, I believe it was Biden and I'm not going to get political, and nope, it was it was Cheney and
Dick Cheney.
who was it? Yep, who was John Kerry's running mate? Do you remember?
Oh, I should.
Oh,
If I
was it
heard it, I
Ed,
might.
Edwards?
Oh,
John Edwards, or was it someone else?
he got. I think John Edwards left because he had some affair or something. He was busted
Right.
for some extramarital affair.
I know it was Dick Cheney. It was a vice presidential debate, and
Mhm.
they agreed beforehand uh, that they're going to be respectful and they're going to be kind to each other, and there will be certain things that they won't discuss. Like,
Good old days, huh, Eric?
yeah, and that's wasn't that long ago.
Right. No, it wasn't.
We can get back there for sure, for sure. Miss Blipper said, or I'm sorry, Ellie said, yogi, yogi, yogi time. Miss Blipper, Miss Blipper, Miss Blipper, Miss Blipper time.
So sweet.
I think that media needs to take an active role in setting the tone of debate and throw ratings out the window.
Say that again. You think media has to what?
Take an active role in setting the tone of the debate. We're not going to put up with this. Um, and we don't care about ratings. We care about presenting an honest and open dialogue between two people that have the potential of running our country.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I agree with you entirely, and I do think they are going on ratings, and where ratings are concerned, they've learned that negativity and a lot of um, like pushy high drama grabs the screen.
But hey, so with your what you were saying, uh, and I've always loved that. Would you rather be
Happier, right?
happy or right? And I've also read, and I think this was Wayne Dyer changed it a bit. Would you rather be kind or right? Um, it's the same thing. I don't think you can be happy unless you're kind, and I don't think you can be kind unless you're have a sense of joy, a sense of happiness. But so I'm thinking one universal principle offered from a course that is accessible and life changing. Maybe that's too big of a thing to think of off the top of our heads,
No, I've
but
got one right off the top of my head.
awesome. Um, I don't, but I want to hear
Okay.
yours.
All right. Okay. Um, there is one prayer that is always answered, and uh, that is to love God more and be loved by God more.
Do you think that could be a national imperative?
A national,
A
a
national
national. I'm
imperative.
I'm I'm kind of into the separation of church and state. Me personally, yeah.
Me too, but we're not talking to church.
Okay,
We're
that's
talking,
true.
yeah, we're talking about a personal imperative
Right.
that we can teach and carry in the heart. Uh, like posting obviously 10 Commandments in a courthouse in a courtroom
Hmm.
makes zero difference. No one's gonna read it, and having it in the school, someone who is going to do something is still going to do it. They're not going to look at it and go, "Huh, I never considered do not kill." Uh, obviously, I don't think me personally, I don't think teaching the 10 Commandments at this point in time. But is there one little thing that we could enter into the national discourse that could change the tide if people truly got it?
Love your neighbor. It's old, but it works.
Right. I love when Jesus was asked, I'll probably get this, I'll word it wrong. What are the two greatest? What are the greatest commandments? What is the greatest commandment? And
Right.
he said, love God above uh, all
All your
others,
heart and soul.
all your heart and soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
10 Commandments reduced to two.
Right.
Because here's the thing: thou shalt not kill. If you love your neighbor, there's not even a thought. of harm, let alone killing. There's
And actually, the original commandment wasn't "Thou shalt not kill," but "Thou shalt not murder."
uh, um, Parmata says many countries are trying to do what you're suggesting, Yogi, and they end up with blasphemy laws that result in executions and other horrible things. Um, well, I don't know how uh, a little imperative of love your neighbor. Uh, I guess we could twist anything, right, and turn it into a law that resembles little, if anything, of what the initial statement is. I guess we could do that. But into the whole issue with Animal Farm, when you wrote on the wall, all animals are equal, and then years later they added some are more equal than others, and the animals like,
Right,
huh,
right.
I don't remember it being that way, but I guess because it's there, it's on the wall, it must always be true.
No,
Um,
but who made that comment? Because there's something very
Heart matters,
yeah, there's something to Heart Matters where um unfortunately there have been more peaceful, so to speak, or more harmonious cultures that have been wiped out, by authoritarian, dominant, aggressive, warring, you
right?
know, invaders. So I guess the idea is that what can we contribute that um, might not give that very aggressive, warlike um, attitude dominance.
Right. So Heart matters says you're forgetting commandment number one. You're not allowed to have beliefs other than one God. Um, I'm not advocating the Ten Commandments. Hopefully, no one got that from what I'm saying. Or I'm not advocating Ten Commandments in the classroom or in a courtroom. Um, I'm thinking of I'm going to use your title, your name. I'm thinking of Heart Matters. I'm thinking of what
Perfect.
phrase, what sentence, what action, what um, little bit of hope that we could enter in someone's heart that they would carry
who
with them.
who doesn't show me, it's like the experiment with rhesus monkeys. They found that primates actually need love to survive, and if they don't have love, if they can't, they're part if they're in a situation where they're just in like a cold cage with nothing to cling on to, it doesn't work. So it can be done to take the statement that God is love quite literally and say there isn't a human being on the planet that doesn't have access to that somehow. And they
Right.
do, or they wouldn't be here.
Um, let's see if I can find a quote very quickly by Stephen Colbert. Um, we're airing, we're stepping very, very closely to politics, um, which is
Yeah.
okay when it's done, uh, I think, mindfully. I don't think we were talking politics as much as um,
Happiness.
happiness, yeah, and the way of achieving happiness. Because if you're in a school that has active lockdown practices, you're not happy,
Kids being scared, hiding under desks, or you know, you know, doors having to be locked behind you, or just menacing people with guns at the front door, or whatever, all those. Yeah.
right? Um, so I would never advocate for a Christian nation or any other religious nation. Um, but I love this quote from Stephen Colbert, where he says, "If this is going to be a Christian nation that doesn't help the poor, either we have to pretend that Jesus was just as selfish as we are, or we've got to acknowledge that he commanded us to love the poor and serve the needy without condition, and then admit that we just don't want to do it.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the thing. We don't want to solve the problem of children getting killed. We don't want to solve the homeless problem. We don't want to solve. We don't want to solve um, that every day we collectively ignore the fact that children are starving to death, and that the way we eat actually contributes to that. Um, but it's easier for me to go to bed with my stomach full and just not have to think about it.
Do you think it's because it's easier, or do you think that people are actually, on some level, almost tyrannically afraid? Because if there's some truth to the idea of love being a power, then they fear anything that they might have done or feel guilty about, what they can't see or didn't do, or how removed from that they might feel themselves to be.
Um,
I
Very
don't
good
think
question.
it's all just laziness. I think there's some fear intensity stuff going on. Like, if I don't control the shots, then the shots will control me.
Right, right. Um, I think there's probably a whole lot of um, that, and a whole lot of some people just don't know, never gave it any thought. Um, what I worry about is having given it some thought, if we just say, "Oh well." Um, and I had a friend I sort of explained that to, and his answer was, "Well, it really sucks to be them." Uh, and I don't think he was heartless. I think he really meant it really does suck to be them. Um, what can I do about it? Sometimes I guess it seems so overwhelming that the best thing we can do is say, I'm sorry for it, but hey, what can I do about it? I love Marianne Williamson's answer when she was asked, why does God allow this suffering? Why does he allow starving children? And her answer was, he doesn't. We do.
Yeah. We're
God has
not a
given us all
part.
the
And every day, every minute, every second, every hour is, you know, we are deciding things.
right. We are basically, whether we like it or not, we're basically deciding it's okay that some have and some don't. That some go to bed with a full belly and others go to bed with a distended belly, to paint a
Or,
vivid
or some
picture.
feeling relatively safe and others, feeling terrified. Yeah.
Right. Marianne Williamson's point was that we are blessed with amazing resources, uh, in which we could literally feed every starving person in a matter of days across the world. Um, and yet, for whatever reason, and I won't get into the reasons, because then I guess maybe we would go fully into politics.
Politics. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you're right. Collectively, you know, we decide not to. Collectively, we decide to vote for the lower tax for certain groups, so that um, uh,
Yeah, a lot of the time it isn't even, isn't voting, because we're talking about a bunch of different countries here. But it is a lot of the time about, like, economics and profit, and, like you say, the haves and the have nots. Because things like water, for example, water is an amazing resource, and a lot of people in the world don't have access to clean water. Well, they've invented desalination machines. They could do, we could do that.
right,
That could be done, but they've got to make it profitable for somebody. Somebody's got to get the big, you know, account. We have that. It's really interesting in Italy, which, if anybody doesn't already know, this is where I live. So they have really great designers, and they have really great engineers, and they have really great, um, innovation, incredible, and architects, and just on design. They're really big on that. Um, and it's a country, little tiny country, that has all kinds of natural resources. So we have mountains, so we have wind, we have snow, we have water. Um, we could get, and sunshine, lots of sunshine. So we could have all of those translate into electricity easily, because they have all the resources, and they all have all the people and education to make those resources activated. But because, like, certain monopolies are running the show, they're buying all their electricity from Switzerland. Meanwhile, there's no solar energy or hydraulic energy or wind energy, none of it. Just buy it from Switzerland.
Hmm. Huh. Um, so that leads us back all the way to the beginning.
Okay.
Where
That's
is the
where we
hope?
want to go. We want to
That is
go
where we
all
want
the
to go.
way back
Yeah.
to the beginning. We've been waiting for this moment.
And that is, is there hope?
100%. Absolutely. That's why I'm here. There is hope.
You're the salvation of the world. There is nothing today for me. Lesson 37. There is nothing my holiness cannot do. And you truly are the salvation of the world. The salvation of the world depends upon Ms.Blipper and Adam and Kat and Sissy and Chris and Becca
And
Boo
all
and
the
Lady
good
Sky.
miracles all of you have been doing. Wow.
Um, that's a heavy responsibility, but also, great hope.
I just got a message in Italian. Can I read it?
Yeah.
It says, Ciao mamma, da oggi sono diventato tuo fan. Grazie. Molto gentile.
Uh, and now in English.
All right. So in English, it says, Hi, Mom. From today, I have become your fan. And I just said, Thank you. 1,000 thanks.
Awesome. That's from our friend Praveen. Praveen comes in as Better Self Daily.
That's
Um,
sweet.
so we'll wrap things up in just a minute.
I have
Any
Praveen mentioned going to Tibet to you. He invited you to go to Tibet. Why don't you do that? Get some cash together. We'll do a fundraiser, get you to Tibet. But you
that
have to
would be.
promise to come back.
I don't know if I can make that promise. Hey, you ever read Razor's Edge?
What's that?
You ever read the Razor's Edge, Somerset Mom?
I think I did, but it would have been like a long time ago, like 30 years ago or something.
That was, I think I was 12 when I read it, and that
Right.
was one of the sparks of being on a spiritual path. Uh, Set me on it. Just relating so much with Larry Durrell was the character who was came back from World War I, highly decorated pilot, uh, but he had his fill of the world, uh, the senselessness that humans could do atrocities to humans. Uh, and he tried to go back to school, tried to do all kinds of stuff, and he just know that he was not at peace, and there was no way for him, foreseeably, to do so. But of course, you always hear rumors uh, that there's a place in the world where someone has achieved ultimate peace of mind. In my case, you start hearing rumors, you start picking up little snippets. Your case as well, that there's a someone heard that there's a blue book that will lead, if you read it and practice, it'll give you peace of mind. Or that if you do a meditation or if you study Kabbalah, where little things are dropped in our laps, where we think maybe this is maybe.
I'm
Um,
going to use a word now that I'm going to speak of my inspiration from my soul sister Sissy. And she uses this word called the collective, and I love that. I love that word in terms of human beings. That there there is such a thing as um, oh, I don't know how what I would use as a synonym, but a holy body of human beings. And they're all over now. Like, they're the collective, and they're connected. They can connect.
I like that. Um, the protagonist of Razor's Edge went to Tibet. Um, eventually, he did make his way back, but part of him always stayed in Tibet, or maybe he took Tibet with him.
Hmm.
And I like that thought of taking Tibet with me.
I carry Tibet around with me because one of my first, I mean, you and I have just kind of little bit edged on our personal narratives of strange experiences of different sorts, recognizing that we both have, you know, a, that kind of collective too. And one of mine was being in San Francisco. I was living in San Francisco near the Panhandle, and you could go to the swimming pool for $1 in the Richmond district. So I would jog to the swimming pool where I would pay $1 to go swimming. So here I am jogging to the swimming pool. So I'm wearing like a pair of shorts and a purple tank top. And I see a bunch of people looking at a Victorian house um, across the street from the park, the Panhandle, it's called. And I'm so naive. I think I'm 19 years old at this point in life, and there's a bunch of people standing there looking at this Victorian house. So I stop and I look too, and I go, well, what are Finally, after about 10 minutes, I give up. It's like, what are you guys? I'm sorry. What are you looking at? Oh, there's a llama in that house. And so for me, llama was like a furry animal that looks like a camel. And so I was like, oh, well, that's really interesting. I'll wait for the llama to come out too. And instead, it came out these men from Tibet, and they were wearing like orange robes and stuff. And they had set up like a pedestal, a cube, in the middle of the Panhandle, and they all got um, walking. I still had no idea what was going on, but there's a Chinese guy ahead of me in line. So I asked him, "Can you tell me what's going on here?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's a Tibetan Lama, and these people are waiting in line to get blessed." And I was like, "Well, can anybody do it? Like, is it free? Do you have to pay? What's the deal?" And he's like, "No, because according to that guy, the Tibetan Lama, it might not have anything to do with this life at all. It might have something to do with a previous life or a future life. It isn't necessarily about who you think you are, you know?
Right.
And you might be clueless about that, and I probably certainly was." And so while we're in line, though, he kept on doing the same thing. This Lama, this Tibetan, he looked like he was 107 years old, and he was like going, "Ah, ksh," and he had something in his hand like, ksh, ah, ksh, ksh. And so I was sure that by the time I got to the front of the line and I was standing in front of him for his blessing, that he was just going to continue with that. No, instead, as far as I know, he opened his eyes. I mean, this is what it appeared to me. I don't know really what happened, but opened his eyes, stopped saying the mantra, stopped rolling his eyes back into his head, stared at me. I I left my body, like I jumped so far out of my body, like 75 feet out of my body, and like way in the back, and then way in the front. And so after that, Then there was like little bowls of colored rice and stuff. But after that experience with that llama, and to date, I still have no idea really what happened. I've always thought it was really interesting 'cause it was so distinct and unexpected.
Well, well, um,
And I mean,
one,
there were no drugs involved, none whatsoever. I was like I say, I was jogging to the swimming pool.
I wanted to answer real quick.
Hmm.
Uh, Harmatter said he always found it sort of a cognitive dissonance between there's only the moment and the importance of past lives in Buddhism. And that is because until you realize nirvana is in the present moment, you on the wheel of suffering, samsara. You keep repeating and repeating and repeating.
Not
Um,
only, but there's another school of thought too, which says that i- with the past and the future, it's not like everything's going chronologically necessary. A there's something to be said for all of those things happening together, like the future you and the past you and the present you.
right.
It's all you. It's all the same.
Um, so I'm going to leave you with one thought that you
Good.
inspired. And then if you would like to leave us with one thought, and then we'll call it an afternoon. Um, when you talked about always having Tibet in your heart, it struck me as something from Herman Melville in Moby Dick that I've always
Hmm.
found beautiful. For as this appalling ocean surrounds the verdant land, so in the soul of man there lies one insular Tahiti, full of peace and joy, but encompassed by all the horrors of the half-known life. I just love that thought of an insular Tahiti. That yeah, there's struggles, there's uh, violence, there's warfare, there's whatever, but in the heart of man, there's an insular Tahiti that we can touch upon and reside in. That's our isle of peace. That's our isle of love. And when we touch base with that, that's what we have to give away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shared thing.
And that again brings us full circle. What are we sharing? What little act of love? That's where you started the whole thing. And we found our way remarkably right back to it. Well done. Well done, Ms.Blipper. I
Round and
like that.
round.
Yep. Because boy, we dug into a whole bunch of stuff, and
To
then
that.
you wove it
And,
right back.
and room for more next Monday.
Yep. It's always ever creative. I don't see us ever running out of something to talk about.
I don't either.
I mean, we got what 1,200 and some pages in the book. um,
We And not only, I mean, and then there's music and art and breathing and the world and what's not the world and
right.
the future and the past and the present and relationships and everything.
I'm going to bring that up with quite a few course teachers when they come up. Is what is the world? What is the illusion? How do we navigate it? Do we navigate it? Do you believe it? Do you live it? Um, I've seen more than one teacher talk about just the realization that we're dreaming this changes everything because how can you relate so strongly to a dream figure? How can you hate someone that you've put here, that you're dreaming their at least their presentation? Uh,
Or yeah, for me it would be or what isn't the dreaming? Meaning I would love still to hear everybody's love stories, not their personal romances, but their love stories. Like, what did they do today that was loving, that was thoughtful, that was kind?
we'll keep. I think we should keep introducing that in our talks.
We'll
It's a
make
good
it
way to.
a regular topic.
Yeah. So you guys heard it. You have homework assignment for Miss Blipper. Go out and do something loving
Yep.
right now.
Then bring it back and tell us about it.
Yep. Because you know
We
what?
want to know. We'll
Not
be
only
inspired.
Exactly. Not only do we want to know that you telling us is a loving gesture too. You're sharing that love with us. And so it goes on and on and
Yeah,
on and on.
that's how ideas grow.
Awesome. Miss Flipper, thank you so much.
Bless your heart. Bless everybody's heart out there. Keep it going.
If you get a chance, come by and hang out with Dave tomorrow
All right. Yeah, yeah. I look forward to that.
and help me remember how to pronounce his last name.
Fair.
Fair.
Fair, like just. Um, is he gonna be in this slot at this the one
Yep.
o'clock slot?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yep. So we can ask him about the dream.
He talks he's into that. He's into, what stream and what isn't.
Right. It's going to be a good conversation. He's a fun guy.
He is.
So
Maybe he'll show us some of his tattoos too.
yeah, I saw. I think one of his last um, videos, he was basically half naked, showing off his tattoos. So
He does some topless ones, yeah.
yeah, if we're lucky, who knows? Maybe he'll talk me into being topless. Maybe it'll be two topless yogis.
He might inspire your next tattoo.
Well, Heavenly Star already has. She drew me
Oh, yeah.
something.
Oh, wow.
So now it's just a matter of
It's not a kazoo, is it?
it's not a kazoo.
But
Uh,
that
but that
would be a good tattoo.
that would
A kazoo
it would.
tattoo.
I'll wait and see how Nature's Dog Realm inspires me with her kazoo playing before I commit to the kazoo tattoo.
I'll
Um,
bet if you had a kazoo tattoo, I bet you could do a ukazoo too.
I could. I think that if I get a kazoo tattoo, I better be darn good at playing the kazoo, and I should probably own one.
With or without the kazoo, because you'd always be with the kazoo.
It's true. That's true. Um,
All
all right.
right.
Kat says bye and thank you, Miss Blipper.
Ah, bless your heart, Kat. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Hope you have a
Um,
great week.
Kat and I often talk about how valuable we find you being up here.
Oh, that's so lovely.
So
It's you guys are great. It's really a pleasure for me to be able to share with you guys and the Course in Miracles and just thoughts and chilling. It's all good.
awesome. All right. Um, Sniper says at that point the kazoo will have a name to go along with the tattoo. Hmm.
The ukazoo.
Yep. Oh, speaking of Sniper,
Hmm.
uh, he will be up tomorrow evening
Hmm.
for. I know it'll be late for you, but maybe for a rewatch. Um,
Hmm.
and he will be. We were calling it the uh, Alchemist Cafe in honor of our alchemist friend, Sniper. Although I was going to run it by Sniper, he can send me a message. What do you like better, Alchemist Cafe or the Alchemist Corner?
Ooh,
What do you like better, Sniper?
alchemist angle.
I like that. Hey, before you go, one last thing. Sissy says, can we get a collective imperative?
Oh wow! Thank you for asking, Sissy. Absolutely. I was going to say something about Squirrel Sniper too, which is just so he knows. The reason I call him Chipmunk sometimes is because when I try to find the squirrel emoticon, if I write in squirrel, it doesn't come up. It only comes up if I write Chipmunk.
Um, I think now it's become uh, a definite term of endearment that everyone appreciates.
I didn't make it up. It's the little, it's the little, emoticon monitor. Doesn't give me a squirrel, but it gives me a chipmunk. So strange. All right, so here's for Sissy's collective, our collective, the Holy Spirit's collective, the fishbowl imperative for the collective. Oh, wow. So apropos. Okay. It says, be glad the cause of suffering is in your mind. For thus are you the one decider of your destiny in time.
Sums up a lot of what we
Right?
discussed. Yep,
Kind of come brings it all around together.
it does. You want to change the world. You want to end the suffering, and who doesn't? Uh, we got to change our mind about the world. We have to reassign the purpose of the world and our function in the world.
And to be glad that the cause of suffering is in your mind, because that makes you, notice that you are the decider of your destiny in time. Power.
Nice.
You got the power.
Now that song's gonna be in my head.
That's a
Um,
good song to have in your
perfect,
head.
perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank
Love you,
you.
friend. Love you guys.
Love you.
We'll see you at 5:25. We're just gonna hang out.
Great.
Hey, Deepak. Take care, guys.